quite an examination," she cried. "So, my dear ladies, you thought you were going to patronize him like a poor little thing, and he barely deigned to accept you, and that with the reservation that he would come only rarely. We've been made fools of, Ivan Fyodorovitch most of all, and I'm glad." "Bravo, Prince, we were told earlier to put you through an examination." "And what you said about my face is all completely true. I am a child, and I know it." "I knew it even before you said it. You precisely expressed my own thought in a single word." "I think your character is completely identical to mine, and I'm very glad, like 2 drops of water." "Only you're a man and I'm a woman, and I've never been to Switzerland, that's all the difference." "Don't be in a hurry, Maman," cried Aglaya. "The prince said he had something special in mind in all his confessions, and he wasn't simply saying it." "Yes, oh, yes," the others laughed. "Don't tease him, my dears, he may be cleverer than all 3 of you put together." "You'll see. Only why have you said nothing about Aglaya, Prince?" "Aglaya's waiting, and I am, too." "I can't say anything now. I'll say it later." "Why? She's noticeable, I believe?" "Oh, yes, she's noticeable. You're an extraordinary beauty, Aglaya Ivanovna." "You're so good-looking that one is afraid to look at you." "That's all? And her qualities?" Mrs. Epanchin persisted. "Beauty is difficult to judge, I'm not prepared yet." "Beauty is a riddle." "That means you've set Aglaya a riddle," said Adelaida. "Solve it, Aglaya." "But she is good-looking, isn't she, Prince?" "Extremely," the prince replied warmly, with an enthusiastic glance at Aglaya. "Almost like Nastasia Philippovna, though her face is quite different." They all exchanged astonished looks. "Like who, own?" Mrs. Epanchin drew out. "Like Nastasia Philippovna?" "Where have you seen Nastasia Philippovna?" "What Nastasia Philippovna?" "Gavrila Ardalionovitch was just showing Ivan Fyodorovitch her portrait." "What? He brought Ivan Fyodorovitch her portrait?" "To show him." Today Nastasia Philippovna presented Gavrila Ardalionovitch with her portrait, and he brought it to show. I want to see it. Mrs. Epanchin heaved herself up. Where is this portrait? If she gave it to him, he must have it, and, of course, he's still in the office. He always comes to work on Wednesdays and never leaves before 4. Send for Gavrila Ardalionovich at once. No, I'm hardly dying to see him. Do me a favor, my dear prince, go to the office, take the portrait from him, and bring it here. Tell him we want to look at it. Please. He's nice, but much too simple, said Adelaida, when the prince had gone. Yes, much too much, agreed Alexandra, so that he's even slightly ridiculous. It was as if neither had spoken her whole mind. However, with our faces he got out of it nicely, said Aglaya. He flattered everyone, even Mamun. Don't be witty, please, cried Mrs. Epanchin. It was not he who flattered me, but I who was flattered. Do you think he was trying to get out of it? Asked Adelaida. I don't think he's so simple. Well, there she goes. Mrs. Epanchin became angry. And in my opinion you're even more ridiculous than he is. He's a bit simple, but he keeps his own counsel, in the most noble fashion, to be sure. Just as I do. Of course, it was bad of me to let on about the portrait, the prince reflected to himself on his way to the office, feeling some remorse. But, maybe it's a good thing I let on. A strange idea was beginning to flash in his head, though not a very clear one as yet. Gavrila Ardalionovich was still sitting in the office and was immersed in his papers. Evidently he did not get his salary from the joint stock company for nothing. He became terribly embarrassed when the prince asked about the portrait and told him how they had found out about it. Why did you have to blab? He shouted in angry vexation. You don't know anything, idiot. He muttered to himself. I'm sorry, I said it quite unthinkingly, just by the way.